Hello YouTube and welcome to another JUnit video. In this video we are going to create a class that's going to contain our test rules, and let's take a look at what we have so far. If we go to our test suite 1 and test suite 2, we see that we have the same logic in our before methods and after methods. Now in programming, you don't want to type the same thing over and over. You want to type it once and then you want to reuse it. And if you write good programs, you have a lot of reusable code. So in this case, that's not the case, right? So because we have repeat ourselves over and over multiple times in these two test suites. Now, the way we can optimize it is by creating test rules, which are going to contain things like this. And on top of that, we're also going to create rules to handle passing of the test and failure of the test. Because when your test is passing, you may not do certain things when your test is failing, like taking screenshots or taking logs, or maybe sending a notification to somebody that, hey, there's something horrible happening here, check it out. All of that is going to be handled in our test rules. So let's take a look at our Java directory. Actually, we're going to select it and then we're going to right click and create a Java class, and we're going to name that Java class test rules. Inside of this test rules, we are going to copy and paste this before class stuff and after class stuff if we need to. Maybe in your situation, you don't need to use before class or before method, so it's just kind of up to you what you want to keep in here. But just keep in mind, you want to keep in here stuff that's getting reused, across multiple test suites that you don't want to write over and over, because that also keeps your framework maintainable better, because you have only one place where you need to change stuff, and then it also makes your framework less prone to bugs, because again, you have only one place where you need to change stuff. So now we're going to copy after class in here as well. And now that we have all this stuff in one place, we can go into our test suite 1 and delete this. And then we can go into our test suite 2 and delete this as well. Now in test suite 1, we implemented our retry logic. And if we want to keep this retry logic global, we're also going to remove it from here and add it to our test rules. So now any test suite that uses test rules will have this in it. Now, how do we make our test suite 1 use our test rules? It's pretty simple. We're going to extend test rules in this suite, and we're going to do the same thing in test suite 1. In test suite 2. Now, next thing we need to do is implement logic for handling passing and failure of the tests. So again, we are going to use our rule from JUnit, and we're going to create public test rule that will listen for our tests. And basically it will listen for, we're going to override a method here, and that method is going to be void failed, so it's going to listen for failed tests, and it's also going to listen for succeeded tests. Now we need to make sure our methods here, failed and succeeded, have the proper arguments to be picked up by the JUnit rule, and the failed one has throwable st, and then it also has description. So now any logic that you want to execute for when your test fails will go here. And then logic for handling tests that pass will go here. For demonstrative purposes, I'll just go ahead and put some outprint in here, and I'll say test failed, and then I can say test passed. And to be a little more descriptive, we can actually use our description, and we can say get method name, and actually it would be correct to do it this way. So let's go ahead and execute one of the tests. Let's do test 2 first to see if it runs. Okay, so we see that our test 2 passed, and all of the before and after test stuff was ran as well. So now let's run test that will fail and see what happens. Okay, also we see that test 1 failed, and the logic that we had in our rules works. And this one, we also see that retry logic was executed. So looks like everything is working, and I think I'm going to stop right here for this video. I think I said everything I wanted to say. Thank you guys for watching, and make sure to like, subscribe, and share the video. In the next video, we're going to talk about parameterized testing, which is very good for data-driven testing if you need to run a lot of tests which are based on different input values. Instead of writing like dozens or hundreds or thousands of tests, you can write one test, and then depending on the amount of values that you want to test, that test will be reran that many times. So we'll talk about that in the next video. Thank you guys for watching. Take care.